Okay, guys, so just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Sai. I'm the product manager here at Currentware. And for today, I'll give you a quick technical demo, an overview of Currentware. Before we jump into the actual product, it's good to learn how to actually set up Currentware so that your remote worker can connect to the system and you can manage them and run report and kind of monitor their productivity and make sure that their security policies are applied properly. So what I have on my screen right now is just a typical router setup page showing you the port forwarding rule that you need to open. So typically, it's actually very easy to allow remote worker to connect to the Currentware system. On your router, you just have to configure the Currentware ports that we have over here on the right-hand side. There's about 5 of them to accept and redirect traffic to the Currentware server that's on your network. So this router setup you perform on your network where the Currentware server is installed, and ideally this could be at the headquarters or inside your office. And then you deploy the Currentware client onto the remote worker's computer. So whether it's your sales team, remote team, and then during that deployment, you connect them to the public IP address of your network. Once the connection is established, it is a secure connection between the client and the server, so you don't have to worry about security issues there. Now, this is just one way of connecting the client. Typically, you can use VPN as well, but with the COVID situation right now, and Larry just mentioning the fact that VPN could be constrained, this is the alternative way of connecting, and it's proven to be very stable and a good way to connect your clients. Now, once all your clients are connected on your Currentware console, they will show up like this on the left-hand side where you can manage them and put them into different folders. Typically, the IT manager from this point can manage the policy as well as run reports on the employees' productivities based on their computer activities or their device activities. So for today's demo, I'm going to show you our Currentware solutions. On the right-hand side, you're going to see 4 of the solutions over here. And the first one I'm going to show you is called Browse Reporter, which is related to employee monitoring. With this solution, you can monitor their computer activities or their internet activities. So first of all, when you're on the console, you simply select the folder with the computers that you want to run reports on. And then you go to Browse Reporter, click Run Report. And from this window, you can choose from 20 different reports that you can run. I'm going to just show you 3 of them here today. The first one I want to show you is the top end domain by browsing time. Okay, and this report will give you a quick 1-page summary of what the remote worker was doing in terms of web activities on their computers. So in this sample report, we have James here, who's been on Zoho, Currentware. These are all company-related website, and maybe in here, he's got one website that's related to sports. So you can kind of understand based on this summary what they were doing throughout the entire week. And then compare that to somebody like Steve in the sample report, who's been spending a lot of time on Facebook, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, or just not working in general. So when you get a report like this, you can really understand if somebody was abusing their power, working remotely, or are they really spending time on websites. Now, if you want to dive deeper, Browse Reporter does have the ability to let you see exactly what each website they went to. So over here, I'm going to run a sites visited report, and then we can see with James, these are all the URLs that they've been browsing on, whereas for Steve, these are the websites. So it's got all the non-productive websites in there. So typically that's a website usage report. The next report I want to show you is related to application usage. So here under top application by active time, I'm going to run a report on another user here. So we got Dave. And with the application usage report, you're not just seeing the websites that they browsed on, you're also seeing the applications that they were using. So here we got Microsoft Edge, Office, Chrome, Skype. So these are applications that are related to your employees' work. Then you can see how much time they spend on those applications and what the percentage of their workday they're using those applications. So it's a really good way to understand what your employees are doing throughout the day, but also a good way for system admin to catch any malicious applications that your employees might be opening. If they're installing anything that's not part of your um, application usage policy at work, then you can find out from here what those applications are. Okay. Now with Browse Reporter, you can also do alerting. So instead of running reports from the console, you can get an alert based on websites that they visited or categories of websites that they visited. So for example, when you create an alert, you can say, if I create an alert here, I can say Facebook. And if somebody goes to Facebook for facebook.com more than, let's say, 30 times in a day, send an email to the boss of this company. Okay, so this is a typical alert that you can create. There's also ways to create alert based on category as well. So instead of a website, it could be a group of websites. So if you go to social networking websites 30 times in a day, you're going to get an email letting you know. So that way you can, you need to perform some sort of discipline to that user, you can do so after getting the alert. Okay. Now the other thing with Browse Reporter is that the reports that I showed you earlier can be sent directly into your inbox using email reports. So you don't have to go to the console, run the report, and see it. You can actually get a PDF file sent directly into your inbox. Okay. The next solution I want to show you is our Access Patrol data loss prevention solution. And with Access Patrol, you're able to control what endpoint external devices are being plugged into your employee's computer. So this could be your typical USB flash drive or external hard drive, or if they have DVD and other types of USB such as phones, camera, portable devices. With Access Patrol, you can fully control those access and block them from accessing these devices. Now, the next thing with Access Patrol is the ability to track the device that are being plugged into the laptop, as well as the activities that are being performed to those USB devices. So for example, I want to show you a report here where you're going to see Conan, this sample user, plugging into his computer storage devices that are blocked. So in this case, we've set up a policy to block USB. And we have an allow list where they can only use a handful of company authorized USB that they can plug in. But if it's a personal USB key, it's going to trigger this report, and we report exactly what USB they're plugging into their laptop. Furthermore, you can take that report and run a different one that shows you what happens within those USB. So if Conan decides to copy files from that USB key to his computer, or the other way around, where it could be a data leakage scenario where if they're taking company information and then copying it to a personal USB key, you will see that in this report. And in this sample report, we got 3 devices. The first 2 are external USB devices, and these are all the files that the users are copying to and from the device. And then the last one is an internal hard drive where if for some reason they're plugging in USB that's bringing in some sort of virus, Trojan, malware, then you will be able to see that in this report. Okay, so that's an overview of Access Patrol. The last solution I want to show you guys is our browse control web filtering solution. So once you've identified the productivity level of your employees and you want to perform some sort of restrictions on their web browsing, you can do that easily using browse control. So if we go to sales here, the same sample users from before, you go to URL filter. The way that you can set up browse control, there are two typical scenarios. You can have an allow list. So these are the only websites that the end users can go to, and it will prevent them from going to any other websites. Or the second scenario is to have a block list. So we're blocking a handful of websites here that they're not allowed to go to, along with a category filtering list to block groups of websites that are related to, say, gambling, jobs, pornography, or sports. Okay, and other than the website restrictions, browse control can also block applications as well. If you want to prevent your users from using their own personal Dropbox application to sync files, or prevent them from running Windows Media or other sort of music or video players on their computer, you can do so using the app blocker here. So any Windows application with an exe or a process can be blocked using browse control. Okay. Yep, so that's the last solution I want to show you guys. I'm going to just pass it back to Neil to wrap up the meeting.
Great, thanks, Sai. So hopefully that helped a few of you who either are using CurrentWare already or potentially looking at it as a solution to help you understand the benefits that it can provide.